Little Miss Muffet can get off her tuffet. I've got curds and whey.
Bigfoot cooking.
So today we're going to try an experiment because honestly, I have never before made cheese. But this company here, what is it? Cultures for Health. They actually reached out to me and said, hey, you want to try something a little different? We'll send you the kit. I'm like, well, why not? So we're going to learn today, both of us, what it takes to make mozzarella cheese. Now this kit actually will make two different cheeses. It makes a mozzarella and it makes a ricotta. We may try the ricotta later, but for today, well, we're going for the mozzarella. Now let's see what they hide inside. Now, one of the first things I noticed when I got this was it's not an expiration date. I mean, they tend to market things like, oh my God, the day after this, you throw it away. No, it's more of a recommended use or best buy or what have you. But right now it's 2024. This has a sell-by date of January 2028. So, I mean, this kit right off the bat has got 4 years of shelf life, which to me is great because if you don't jump right in and do this, you kind of buy it thinking, hey, this will be a good idea. You can come back later and do it. You know, you can do it with the kids. You can have a little fun. This is one it should be interesting. So let's see what we got inside. We have a direction book, which I will be referencing heavily because again, this is a tried and true trial and test. They sent a nice pack of cheese salt. I'm not sure what the difference is between cheese salt and just salt, but I'm going to use it. We've got citric acid, which we'll use to kind of acidify the milk. I have this is a rennet tablet. Now you can get this in a liquid or a tablet, but for what they sent me, it's a tablet. And they also sent a thermometer, and they call it butter muslin, or muslin. I don't know. This is not a word that's in my common everyday English language. But this is actually a really good cheesecloth. It's thick and heavy, not like some of the cheaper stuff. We won't need it for the mozzarella, but we will when we get to the ricotta. So we'll hang on to this for later. But we are going to need the thermometer. So let's get this little bit of a party started by mixing up a few things. You know, I noticed something else too. The box has on it, make it yours. How many times have I been doing something up here and told you guys, hey, if you want to change this up, make it yours. Do what you like. They stole my logo. I'm gonna have to talk to them about that. All right, I'll be honest, the thermometer is nice. I mean, if you don't have one, this will work great. These are small numbers and well, I already got the glasses anyway, so I'm gonna actually skip that one and just use my digital thermometer for this. So let's get to the prep work because to do this, honestly, we're just gonna need the kit. Everything that we're doing here as far as like hardware, it either needs to be stainless steel or glass. You don't want to use plastics for this, all right? So I've got the kit that came with. I've got a gallon of whole milk. Now you want to make sure this is not a ultra pasteurized milk because there has to be some of the magic whatever's in here that makes cheese happen. And if it ultra pasteurizes, well, it's not going to react. The rennet has nothing to react to because all the microbes have been processed out of it. Also, you're going to need 1.5 cups of water. Now, the water is actually something that makes a difference too. Where I'm at, we have, and this amazed me, they call it raw water, right? I don't know why it's raw water, but it's straight out of the well. It's not chlorinated or treated or any of that. If you use chlorinated, when you make the cheese, it may not set right because the chlorine, again, there's a delicate, I don't think it's a chemical reaction, but there is a delicate microbial reaction going on. And with chlorinated water, it's not going to happen. So you could either buy like a distilled water, or if you were to say run a pot of it, right, fill it up with some water and just leave it sit out overnight or a day or so, that will allow the chlorine to dissipate. And hopefully that works for you then. So we've got everything here that we need to do this. Let's get started. Step one, we're gonna mix in a few things. Now, I ain't gonna lie with this, I'm literally gonna follow these step by step because again, I've never made this before, so we learning together. All right, first thing it wants us to dissolve 1/4 tablet into 1/4 cup of water. All right, so let's go ahead and get one of these guys out and slice it up. Let's see, we'll just take our small brisket knife, which By the way, this is an awesome knife. Yes, the link for the cheese cutter or the cheese maker and the knife will be down below. So let's see, we will cut this in half. I would say a quarter, but it kind of crumbled on me, but that's okay. We'll take a quarter of the pill and set it in there, and the rest of it I'm gonna put into the freezer since it is an open pack. So we'll set this away for now and we'll check back in a sec. Now I'm gonna use one spoon to stir in the rennet and a different one to stir in the citric acid, all right? Because they come in at different times for different reactions. So we'll stir this up and I'll just do that every couple of minutes until the pill dissolves. Now, as far as the citric acid goes, well, for that, we're gonna need a teaspoon and a half of the citric acid mixed into a cup of water. So let me open this guy. Yeah, they send everything to you nice and sealed up. So you know it's gonna be tamper-proof, tamper-resistant when you get it. So let's see, half teaspoon, so 3 of these. And just stir until dissolved. All right, we've got our citric acid completely mixed in. I'm gonna go ahead and set it in this bowl. Now, what we're after, again, you gotta have something big enough to hold a gallon of milk and still be able to stir it. So I got me a nice big pot right here. Make sure you got a lid for it too, because for quite a while, it will sit here with the lid on and off as this goes along. So citric acid is in, let's add our milk. We're just gonna stir this nice and slow while we pour it in. All right, now that guy's mixed up, let's add a little fire. Now I'm gonna pull this flame down low, all right, because we are cooking milk and you don't wanna scald your milk. So we'll just let this sit here nice and low. What I do with my thermostat, there we go. We are only cooking this, or really not really cooking it, but we're heating it up to 90 degrees, all right? That's all we're after, and that's gonna give us the temperature that we need to add the rennet. So while this is going along, well, no need to stare at me. I'll be right back on the edit. Now, the whole time this is heating up, you wanna make sure you've got your spoon and just kind of stirring it nice and easy. You don't wanna mix bubbles in it, but again, we don't want the bottom to burn and we want this all to come together as one temperature. All right, we've hit our 90 degrees. Now I'm gonna take my rennet that I've got sitting here, just waiting on me. Give it one more quick little stir. Don't need you, I don't know. Let's see if you can see, there's already little bits of cheese curd kind of forming on it. This ought to work pretty well. So we've got our rennet here. What I'm gonna do is as I stir this, I'm gonna pour this into it. And once it's in, you're gonna stir for about 90 or 30 seconds, not 90 seconds, but 30 seconds just to mix this up. They say stir from the bottom up, but basically just make sure it gets in here and it goes on its way. And like I say, 30, for some reason, 30 seconds seems to be really exact on this. So let me mix for the 30. Well, I tell you what, as soon as I put that stuff in there, I don't know if you can tell, but look, it's already doing its thing. So now I'm gonna set this, again, the heat's turned off. It's just sitting here minding its own business. And I'm gonna give us 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes to kind of, I guess the word is coagulate. To me, it don't sound appetizing to say, hey, my cheese has coagulated, but that's what it's doing. It's forming a solid mass. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Just hold on. All right, I would say 5 minutes passed, but in the process of getting ready to do the shot, I found out that the knife is extremely sharp if you touch it the wrong way. So, well, now I have a glove. Not the worst thing. So we've been about 8 or 9 minutes here, and let's see what we've got. We take our knife and we come in, let's see, and we kind of pull it back and forth. There's that clean break that they keep saying they want to see. So we should be good to go. So let's go ahead, and there's really no hard, fast rule on how to cut this, but you basically kind of cube it up some so that way you can mix it. So let me zibba zibba. Now that it's cut up into pieces, you know, and I'm really not sure why you cut it up. I don't see why you couldn't just mix it in, but for the first time making this, I'm gonna follow the rules. Next time, I might hit it a little rogue style. But we're gonna go ahead and heat this back up. Let's see, get my burner just right. And what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take and slowly stir this, because we're not trying to really break up the curds per se, but we're gonna take what looks like cottage cheese and we're gonna mix this up until our water see, this is where I'm a little confused, because in here it says, let's see, if you're using pasteurized milk and you're gonna use the microwave, which we're gonna use Chef Microwave, heat it to 105. Lots of other things have said 90, but again, I'm trusting this kit because I've never done it before, and so I'm just gonna slowly mix this until I get it up to 105. See, this is a stage where I'm a little worried because it's not like the others where I've seen them make it, but you know, currently we're gonna trust the process. Little Miss Muffet can get off her tuffet. I've got curds and whey. All right, we'll turn our heat off, and now we're gonna try to pull all this out and set it in a bowl. Now, again, I'm trusting the process, but to me, this looks like cottage cheese, not mozzarella. But like I say, this is my first time. I've done dumber things. You know what? There's a faster way. Hold on. Bigger spoon. Now, I guess how much you get out of it at the end really depends on your patience. And there you have it, curds and whey. I'm gonna pour a little bit of this back in here, just trying to get off some of the extra water, or off extra whey. Yes, I know it's not water, but it's awful watery. And there we have it. Now, from this point, I'm gonna take this and set it in the microwave, because what we're gonna do now, we're gonna heat this so that way it can kind of mix together and stretch and make itself happy. So 30 minutes in microwave, I'll be right back. Did I really say 30 minutes? 30 seconds in the microwave. Lord have mercy, I'm losing my mind. All right, so now, after just 30 seconds, we're basically gonna take the edges and kind of pull them in and try to kind of mash out some of this whey. It actually feels like cheese. This is kind of cool. This might actually work. All right, we're gonna pour off some of this whey. And then this is where it says you can add the cheese salt. It's an optional thing, but you know, salt does really bring out a lot of flavor and stuff. So instead of it wants a tablespoon or a teaspoon, but I think I'm gonna stick with just a half a teaspoon with this. That way it doesn't over salt it. So we got our salt. Let's go ahead and pull this in a little bit. Into the microwave. Once again, 30 seconds at a time. All right, we're getting a little more whey off of it. And this is where, if you've got heat sensitive hands, I won't say delicate, I'll say heat sensitive. This is where things are starting to get a little warmer. So depending on how much heat your hands can take, well, you may have to switch to like an insulated glove. Like I say, it's not bad right now, but it is getting warm even for me. Now the temperature that you're looking for on this is about 160 to 170. Okay, we're only at 128. We got a little bit to go, and I am fine with that. So we've got this set. Once again, we're gonna pour off the whey. It is starting to come together though. I mean, it does look a little like cheese, like the mozzarella. So another microwave for 30 seconds. All right, we're getting there. Oh, we're getting warm too. We're getting a little stretchy. Woohoo. Let's see what we're at. All right, I'm sitting at about 150. And 150 is pretty warm on the hands. So we're gonna go ahead and mix this up a little bit, or keep kneading it, I guess you'd say. I mean, I've been kneading this since I started, otherwise I wouldn't have wanted to start. All right, last time into the microwave. We should be good. It's a stretching. Look at that, look at that. Now it is incredibly hot, even for a guy who's used to working on hot things. This is definitely got some heat to it, but it's got that nice glossy shine to it. I mean, it feels really good as far as the cheese goes. So what I'm gonna do now instead of keeping on working on it, because I think I've stretched it probably enough to meet the qualifications for mozzarella, I'm gonna kind of, let's see, grab it up and squeeze me a ball of it off right here. Kind of roll it up. I'm gonna set it into cold water. What that's gonna do, that's gonna cool it down and help it set. Let's see how our mozzarella looks. You ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit worried when we first pulled this stuff out, because it didn't look right, but now I'm kind of impressed. I mean, this came together really well. And of course, this is one of those that, what size do you want? I mean, you could take and pull this off into little bitty spots, and then like say you had those cherry tomatoes. Well, you know, now you've got you some mozzarella the same size as the cherry tomato, and you know, it looks all nice and purty. I'm gonna let this sit in this water. This is cold water. It did have ice, but the ice melted. I'm gonna let it sit here for about 10-15 minutes and get cooled down. Once it's cooled down, I'm actually gonna get my scales out, and let's see how many pounds of cheese we got out of 1 gallon of milk. So while that's cooling, I think Benson had a little bit of his Bigfoot knowledge that he wanted to impart into you guys. So we'll take our commercial break and let's hear from Benson. So let's talk about the job that rennet does when making cheese. See, when you mix it in the pot, what it does, it actually breaks away the solids from the liquids. That's how you get your curds and whey. I mean, basically, it curdles the milk, and that's where you get your curds. Curds, curdles, same thing. Now, originally, they were getting this from the stomach of a young cow. I really don't want to know how they got it. I just know that it works. But now, in the modern times, we can get the same stuff from a plant. It's so much better. And the cows are happier too. Now you may wonder, when you eat this, can you even taste it? Nope, not at all. No taste whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna taste a big hunk of it right now. You guys take care. All right, so actually in the directions, it's like the mozzarella curd never formed a solid mass and it looks like ricotta. Why? Hey, I had that question a little bit earlier. Let's continue to read. Let's see, one of them it says, well, I didn't wait long enough. Well, I definitely waited long enough. I actually waited twice as long as it told me, so I can X that part out. But the second part, it says, depending on the milk, some, even though it's pasteurized, some of them still do a little bit higher pasteurization temperature than another brand. And so try a different brand of milk. So it could have just been the gallon that I got it was a little bit different. And cheese making is an art. It's not something that it's like, hey, I did it once, I'm an expert. Nope, this one actually turned out where I've got the balls and things look good, but the next time, it may be perfect. It may be one of those, I should have shot a video of that instead of this one. But I just had to try it, and I figured, again, live action, right? So let's see how these weigh. That's right, time to pull them out of the water to weigh them, and then to store them, we'll put them in the weigh. Yeah, play on words. Be right back. So it looks like a gallon of milk actually got us like almost 1.2 ounces of cheese, which is around 500 grams if you ain't from around here. But how does the homemade taste compared to what you buy in the store? That's the question. Yeah, it turned out pretty daggum good. I'm actually kind of impressed. It's got a good feel to it, good mouth feel, good to know that Bigfoot is real, and good to know I'm gonna eat good later on because I got the cheese to do it. Y'all take care. I'll see you on the next one. Actually, I did that and I forgot to say, I've actually, for like keeping this stuff in the fridge, because it keeps about a week, I've got whey that I saved out of the bowl. And so what I'm gonna do is take these and set them back into the whey. So that way they stay fresh. Keep the whey. So that's how you keep them with their optimal flavor in the fridge, is store them in the whey. All right, forgot that, sorry. See you next time.